Well. Honk if you hate corruption. What are we talking about? Well, there he honked. He honked. What are we talking about? We're talking about Ian Cook. Ian Cook is the independent candidate for Mulgrave, who is running to unseat Daniel Andrews. If you're wondering what Ian Cook looks like, let's have a look at him on the side of this bus. That's what Ian Cook looks like, and I'll show you the real Ian Cook in a moment. But this bus says, what does it say? Supporting small business, caring about local issues, putting an end to corruption. He's fighting a campaign on corruption against Daniel Andrews in Mulgrave. And if you don't know who Ian Cook is, from Sluggate, basically he used to run a place called I Cook Foods. Dandenong Council sets up a competitor called Community Chef, funded by the Labor Party, authorised as well by Anthony Albanese and Daniel Andrews, and then through anyway, they set up a competitor to I Cook Foods. Then Inspector Garlick from Dandenong Council comes along and plants a slug. So is the allegation, but from what the evidence I've seen, it's pretty damning. And then shuts him down. And then Community Chef mysteriously winds up. There's some money missing. All gets closed down, bought out for $1 or something. It's all very smelly, and he's out of business. Typical. So based on that, Slugate, he's built up a hate for corruption, which I think we all have, but he's particularly angry about it. So he thinks he can unseat Daniel Andrews, or at least do some damage. So we're here today at his campaign office, new office. So this is his new office. See at the top, there's some posters there of Ian. That's his front door. We'll go and have a look in there now, and then I'll show you some of the merch out here. But and we'll find Ian Cook to have a chat. So this is his office in here. You can see he's got some. I'm on the phone today. He's got some signage here. See, it's all about putting an end to corruption. It's not even about we hate Dan. You see on the bus, it doesn't say we hate Dan. It's just corruption. So this is what his office looks like. And his campaign manager is this famous person. You all know who that is. I actually still have authority to go live on your page. I didn't, just so you know. You still haven't
No, I keep it as a safety measure in case I get looked out.
Oh, okay. Oh. Well, that's the voice for Victoria, but she doesn't like me to use the definite article the, but she's pretty much the voice for Victoria. And here's some more rooms. They're just boring office rooms. And then this is his main area. There you go. And look, some youngins. He's got youngins working on the campaign. That's the way. Let's go. Team Ian on the whiteboard. Wow. Okay, so that's his office. It's not that interesting. But outside, let me show you some merch. Let's see if we can find Ian. What's going on out here? Ian's about to give a speech. Okay, here we go.
Daniel Andrews. That's it. Where we used to say, don't talk about politics and religion, forget it. We don't want you to talk about right and left. We want you to talk about right and wrong. We want you to talk about getting rid of corruption. We want you to talk to your friends, your neighbours, and maybe even the person you know who is rusted on Labor. We've met them. I've met personally a number of them down here at in Lightwood Road, in Bottom and Noble Park, and they're all Labor booths down there. And you know what? They know the story of corruption that hit my employees, my family, and they sit there and they say, yeah, you're right, we have to think about this. And I can honestly tell you, I've had a couple of guys who would swear we're not going to vote away from Labor. We want them to know it's safe to vote for Ian Cook, and for our group, we have one aim, and that's what this gentleman just said, to get rid of who? Daniel Andrews. Exactly. Also, for those of you, I've spoken to a few of you. I'm hoping to get around the rest of you. But for those, I just want you to keep in mind, I believe on the 16th of November on Sky News, Peter Credlin is running a special about I Cook and Ian Cook and Slugate and all that, but also about this election and the seat of Mulgrave. And then also watch for Channel 9. So Liz Hayes has a show called Under Investigation. She has a 1-hour special coming up. It's also coincidentally landing in November, and that's all about us, what happened to us, and they've added on to it because that show, part of the recording was done before I decided to stand. After I decided to stand, they came and reshot some stuff with us. So that'll mean more of the people in Victoria will know the real story. The reason we're standing, the reason we did what we did is because we're uniquely placed to show the evidence of the true corruption. You've got Rod Porter at the back here and Paul Brady somewhere, both wonderful detectives, angels that turned up to help us right in the beginning. No charge, just see the effect it had and the corruption, and they helped us put together what has become Sluggate, which the media's then been able to follow through. There is nothing we ever said that was a lie. I'll leave it at that now. I'm going to come around and see you all. Thank you once again for coming.
Ian, people want to know how likely is it that you'll actually get up?
At the moment, look, if I take a straw poll of the people I've spoken to, it's looking really good. It's just amazing. You would have thought this was this hard. And the areas that they added, so they took off Wheelers Hill, which was blue.
Right.
It got added on down here in Springvale. I've been through Springvale twice now with my Vietnamese friend and Kitty, who's here today, who's Cantonese. Yeah. They hate him. Even employees with their bosses in there saying, no, we'll vote for you.
Wow.
And, you know, and Hung Helping, where there's a language barrier.
And you're getting Labor voters as well shifting over.
I'm getting people who are voting Labor saying, I walked through the market yesterday and I had guys coming up to me and saying, you know what, I've voted before. I'm not doing it again. Not this time. Not for him.
And have you had anyone, the opposite side, saying, no, we love Daniel?
That's interesting. Out of all of the people I've spoken to, and on heart, I have had one person directly tell me they thought Daniel Andrews was doing a good job. That and his wife then piped up and said, yes, but we live in Dandenong Ranges, so we can't vote here.
And you've had hundreds of people supporting you.
Absolutely. It is incredible.
Thank you. Thank you for coming on.
Thanks.
That was Ian Cook live from his Mulgrave electorate. All right. We have someone is asking to come on. Hello.
YouTube man, are you?
Sorry?
You're on YouTube, aren't you?
Yes. You're on YouTube right now.
Oh, hello. Oh, I've been on it
To
all the time.
140,000 people.
Is that all?
Yeah, not many.
What's this? That's mine. I'm on YouTube. London News.
What is it?
London News, Common Law Court.
Oh, okay. London News.
I've subscribed to your channel a few times.
Thank you. And look at your fancy camera.
Yeah, well, you know, green screen, mate. Good stuff.
Good to meet you.
You too, bro.
Oh, just shake your hand. I can't shake his hand because I'm holding a stress ball. So one of the best things he has on his merch is a stress ball. So you have a look at this. We've got shirts. I say we, but you know, he has shirts. He has caps. There's caps. Here we go. Ian Cook, independent from Mulgrave. We have his core message: vote one, Ian Cook, end corruption. But most important, we have stress balls which say Ian Cook because we're all stressed in Victoria. How are you?
Good, mate, good. And we've got a live hat and a live t-shirt supporting Ian Cook.
There you go.
Corruption.
End corruption. Honk if you love corruption. You're going to drive this bus around, right? Around the suburbs and yeah, okay. Very cool. All right, so let me answer some of your questions. Hello.
How are you?
How are you?
Hi.
What's your name?
Nikki.
Hi, Nikki.
Hi.
The people are going to ask you questions of you, I'm sure.
Oh, sure.
I'll come and talk to you when we're not live for some of you. All right, so questions. Honk, honk. Hey, did you know phantom honking has been quoted in some of the cases in the trucker inquiry in Canada? People are talking, I mean, you know, a bit of sympathy. They're living outside and they had semi-trailers out the front. So they say that there's smell of gas, smell of petrol, and phantom honking still haunts them. We can laugh at them, but in a way, you know, that would be annoying having it outside your house for a couple of weeks. Right, what have we got? Mulgrave running in his own seat. That's a honk. Down with Despot Dan. Go cookie screw dictator scumbucket. What kind of an insult is that? Cookie screw dictator scumbucket. People who are sick of all branches of government, that's exactly what Ian Cook is kind of tapping into, that sentiment of, hey, this is, yes, they're saying we want to get Dan Andrews out, but if you look at all of his campaign material, it's actually targeted towards just people who are sick of corruption, which is one of the biggest problems we have in politics on all sides. In Victoria, it happens to be more in the Labor Party because they're in here for more decades. In New South Wales, that happens to be in the Liberal Party, but it's a different sort of corruption. It's more like get your mates rich, whereas in Victoria it's more like stack services and screw the ambulance system. So it's, you know, probably more corrupt here, but both corrupt. But he's running on that. So good luck, Ian from WA. Yes, and just interviewing him now in live, he was saying that as he walks around Mulgrave, he has had one person say, "Oh, we like Dan, what he's doing," and that was someone who lives in Dandenong Ranges that can't vote anyway, and the partner did not agree. No, yeah, I think so. But anyway, and then he's met many, hundreds, I guess, of others who are all saying, we'll vote for you, we'll vote for you, and some of them being previously Labor voters who now will vote for Ian. So that's interesting. What else are you saying? I will legit cry with joy and not need any Christmas gifts this year if and when Ian wins the seat of Mulgrave. Thank you, Steph. Yeah, so this would be probably the biggest blow. If you were to design the biggest blow for Daniel Andrews, it wouldn't be a finding of criminal guilt at WorkSafe or at IBAC. That would hurt. And it wouldn't even be losing the election. The most painful thing possible would be losing the election as the party and losing his seat. Next bet might even be equally as embarrassing is Labor wins the election, either majority or minority, but they win and form government, but Daniel loses his seat, because that says specifically, Daniel, you can't say, oh, people just wanted to change, they're over the Labor Party. No. They like the Labor Party, they voted them in, but they voted you out, you cookie, whatever you called him earlier. That would be the biggest humiliation, and he doesn't get his statue if that happens. So let's see what happens. Wish we lived in your area to vote for you, Ian. Yes, okay. Best luck from Queensland. Hello, Queensland viewers. Good spot to host at Mulgrave. Well, he's running in Mulgrave, and this is where his office is, and this is where Daniel Andrews' election is. Hey, just a quick plug. I'm hanging out with Voice of Victoria live on Saturday the 22nd of October in Melbourne. A 3-course dinner, waterfront views, live recording, extended interaction, Q&A. We'll be hanging out for 3 hours. Unlimited drinks flowing all night, open bar. Tickets, link is, if you scroll up, I'll put a link to the tickets. Come and hang out with us. It's $135 for a 3-course dinner. It's great. It's good value. We're doing it to hang out with everyone. It's basically cost. We make like $15 a ticket. It's nothing. All right. What else are you saying? Vote in Cook. Vote in Cook. Time to expose the corruption within Andrews' government. Yep. Look, it's everywhere, but specifically here. Who wish I could vote for you from Queensland? So many Queenslanders on today. Is Ian people funded? Yeah. So Jenny Nunn, they have had massive funding. So he from locals. In Victoria, the donation laws are so strict that you can't just pour money in, which is why we're not seeing the Victorians Party fell because of this, and why we're not seeing the Teals go really, really hard, because there's donation caps, right? The funny thing about the donation laws that people don't understand is that they for the Liberal and Labor Party, they both have a declared entity that is not tracked, right? Do you really? So they say you can only give a maximum, I think it's $4,000 every election period, right? And if you do anything to get around these donation laws, like donate through a company that's really just you, it has to be legit. Except the Liberal Party have nominated a company that they can funnel donations through. Labor have nominated I can't remember if it's a union movement or a super fund, but they've nominated an entity. So Labor and Liberal passed these laws a few years ago, and they've written into themselves a back door. They can take as many donations as they want, as many as they want. They can take millions and millions and millions of dollars. They can take $1 billion. It doesn't matter. It's allowed under the donation laws. But anyone else who wants to come and fight, any independent parties or small parties or independents, they can't. So it's a protection racket, really. So Ian Cook is not able to take $100,000 from someone. So speaking to his campaign manager, Emily, who's here, that you see there, Emily's talking to someone. So talking to her, Voice of Victoria, she's managing the campaign. She's telling me the donations are primarily tiny, undeclarable ones, like below $1,000. Just massive amount of money coming into them. I don't know how much. From what they say, I'm assuming like 50 grand plus 100 grand, something like that. I don't know. But they're struggling to they want to spend it wisely, right? And they're just ordering all this campaign merch, putting up signs everywhere, and they're like, still got more money. So they're having a red hot go in Mulgrave. This is the most, despite which side you may want to win, and I think most people watching would want Ian to win, and I do as well, but this doesn't matter what side you're on. This is the most exciting seat, I think, in the entire Victorian campaign. It would be Mulgrave, see what's going on. All right. It's Ian talking to someone behind me. Need to wake up more people to the entire system being corrupt. Yeah, look, it's the globalists versus humanity. Sweet Monk, hello, cool name. Listen, so true, because while we're all fighting, right now, have you noticed, remember when everyone was discriminating against the unvaccinated and you can all die and you don't get hospital treatment, fend for yourself, right? Now, there's a lot of unvaxxed going, well, you screwed us earlier, which is true, and saying to the vaxxed, you can die from your adverse events. This is not cool, because this is what governments do. There's a cool cartoon where there's a king up the front and people are rioting, and the squire next to him says, don't worry, you just need to convince the people with pitchforks want to take away the people with shovels. You just have to get the population fighting amongst each other, and then we stop looking at the real people causing the problems. You think it's the vaxxed or the unvaxxed causing the problems, mate? The amount of money we're sending to crazy causes, the amount of stupid things that people in power do, I think that's where we need to see the problem is. So that's a long way of saying, yes, I agree. Stop fighting amongst ourselves and fight the powers. I've basically gone from right wing to left wing over my short life. I would join the Occupy Wall Street people if that happened now, but back then I was thinking they're crazy. No. Door knocking is the only way. Ian is doing a lot of door knocking, hitting the ground. This is all he's doing. He's going around meeting a lot of people, and as I said, he's meeting with like Vietnamese restaurant owners who traditionally vote Labor, and they're all saying, we'll vote for you, we'll vote for you. How many people are there today? Good to know. Okay, Megan Abdo, we have not huge, I don't know, 50 or let's do a walkthrough and you can tell me. So it spills down here a little bit. So if I turn around, so voting. So let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So there's 12 people there. There's probably 50 or 100. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 10, 20, 10, 30. I'll show you where I'm walking. 30, 45. Let's go from 12 to 4. So some people come and go. Some people already left. And then in here, there's probably another 5 here and 5 out the back. So I'd say 50 people here. But again, that's not, that doesn't mean anything. What, you think if 5,000 people showed up here today, that means they're all going to vote for him? No. What matters is election day. All right, what else have we got? Where do preferences go if people vote one Ian Cook? I will find out from him. He's talking to someone now, but I will find out, and you can get him on camera telling you about preferences. That's very important. Sweet Monk, you're saying the elections are rigged. Yeah, look, there's always going to be some fraud in elections. I haven't seen the level required to swing it that intensely here in Victoria, but let's have a look at the results. No statue for you, Dan. Haha. Yes, he gets a statue, Susie, if he serves. It's within his next term. I think it's within the first 12 months as well. So he just has to win this. And the thing he hadn't known about Dan is he has such an ego that's very important to him, more than it would be to you or me. Like a paycheck, earning 500 grand a year might be more important to me than a statue. But for him, the statue is very, very important. So if he gets back in, he'll definitely get the statue. I think it's in the first year or so, first 10 months. If he doesn't get in, he loses his statue. As a former Mulgrave resident, I apologise for voting for the flog. Brad Kendrick, how dare you voting for the flog? No, look, I voted for Bill Shorten twice. There's no hate here for anyone who votes for Dan, even this time round. I think you're crazy if you do, but I'm here for Team Human. I'm here to fight a long-term battle. Georgina Cusack, you related to John Cusack? Good luck, Ian Cook from Wangaratta, Dan's hometown. Do people love Dan in Wangaratta? Was Dan bullied in school? Because I tell you what, that kind of behaviour would indicate that he had a rough childhood. And you know what? He went to the Maris Brothers College, right? Catholic schooling system. Something tells me that they really screwed him because he's so angry. Like, many people don't like Christianity, fine, all good. But he's angry, like he's viciously venomous, angry about it. Something happened to him. Hello from Queensland. Hello, so many Queenslanders on today. Jenny, of course, I love doing lives. It's a funny thing, I tried to go live on Instagram as well, and it said you are blocked from going live because you have shared content that goes against our community guidelines, which is ridiculous. But whatever. So I can't go live on Instagram. Labor and Liberal get tax funds by the millions for pre-election campaigns. Yes, it's based on the number of votes you get that you get paid. So the system is so stacked to maintain the status quo of who's in power. I understand the mentality behind paying per votes. I get that, but at the same time, it makes it very difficult for new people to get up. Not in my electorate, says Robin Tikal, but I will do all my pre-polling support in this electorate. Great, let's do this and help say goodbye to Dan. Yeah, look, they actually don't need more volunteers. They've got enough volunteers, but if you can do that, just get this material, wear these shirts, drop letterbox stuff. You could do that even if you're not in this electorate. One we could throw darts at. That's funny, Gail. Glenn Drury is a facilitator of rorting the dollars and preference votes, dirty deals. So that's an interesting thing because he's also working with the LDP. So I was at an LDP event last night and speaking, and they are using Drury and their what do you call it? Rationale is that you have to play the game to get in. I was talking to David Limbrick about it. And I get it. You know, look, I don't, whether I agree with it or not, you know, Discernible's never really been about taking a huge stand on these issues. I take huge stands on things like Gay Pride Month, which I think is stupid and not because of gay, but because of pride. I hate pride. I take stands on cultural issues, closing the playgrounds, this kind of stuff. I'm very interested in. When it comes to politics, I don't know. Like David says, they need to get in the mud a little bit and do preference deals. People like Ian Cook and things, I think they're going to say, no, you should never do a deal with the devil. We'll find out in a moment. Is there a way Ian can take advantage of the firefighters union turning on Dan, says Megan? Well, they're doing all the work people need anyway. Like, what more do you want them to do? They're already coming out hard. We thought it was an ambit claim. An ambit claim is when you say, you know, I demand a pay rise of 20%, and then they say, fine, we'll only give you 10%, but you only wanted 10% of thing. That's an ambit claim. Emily from Voice and myself thought it would be an ambit claim that the UFU, United Firefighters Union, would never actually do a campaign against Dan. They're just threatening for a big pay rise. But they've decided to go ahead and campaign against him anyway. So that's amazing. I can't believe they're doing that. Is Ian Cook independent? Is he under Catherine Cumming independent funding? No, Ian Cook is completely independent. Just from my interactions with him, he's one of the most independent people I know. Like, I've met some independents which are independent, but also like they lean. Ian Cook doesn't really lean. He's on a very personal thing against corruption. He really hates corruption. And if it wasn't Daniel, it would be someone else. What they did to him, as you heard in his speech, is just an example of why we shouldn't accept corruption from anyone, including the Liberals in New South Wales, who are probably going to lose the next election. We should not accept it. And so he's very much independent. Every time you hear a beep, it's because the bus says, honk if you hate corruption. Dictator Dan won't know what hit him if he loses his seat. Such a narcissist. Yes, he'll have a big problem. What about Michael Pearce-Stringer from the Liberals? He's in Mulgrave as well. I've invited him on Discernible to have a chat. He's nice to me, but he hasn't said, yeah, I'll come on. But I've said, hey, I've invited him. I know Michael has said he doesn't care who wins as long as it's not Andrews. Yeah, there's something really interesting going on in this seat, I've noticed. Everyone is uniting. All the candidates are saying, yeah, we love Michael, we like, what's the other guy? Aidan McClendon from the Freedom Party, we like Ian Cook. They're all speaking kindly to one another, which is amazing. They're not divisively dividing their vote. Anyway, thank you for saying thank you, Sweet Monk, for my efforts. It's a pleasure to be down here. Captain Cumming MP, yeah, she's not here. Lib Dems are doing an upper house splits in Mulgrave today. That's right, Benjamin Robson. So there's a march or something. I don't understand that, but David Limbrick is doing a march. Crystal was here. The copper is under my show. She was here earlier. I think she's going to go check out that march. I will probably not go down there. I was at an LDP event yesterday. I'm a bit spent out right now on the LDP for today. Like, I just want to go home and eat some meat. Regrettably, you are wrong when it comes to donations. Okay, Peter King, educate me. Libs can also only get around 4K per election. The only body that can donate as much as they want is the unions, obviously, to Labor. No, I actually found the company. If you Google this, or Brave search or whatever, you actually see the name of the company that they have. If you say false things, we would tend to believe all you're saying is false. Well, it might be wrong, but it's not deliberately false. Please don't do it as we want to win. So, Peter King, each party has the two major parties. I'm not sure about the Greens, but the two major parties definitely have a back door. When they created that legislation, you can go and read the name. It's like a shell company, like a name that doesn't mean anything, that they can funnel donations through. They both have it. That's why they supported the legislation, man. The natural law of karma means Ian has to win Malvern. I don't think so. I hope so. He could lose. Megan Abdo, thanks for covering. Well, I'm not a journalist. I'm just hanging out. Okay, I'm just saying hi. Ian is still talking to someone, but I'll ask him about preferences when he's free. The statue will be bashed and defaced constantly. That's true. How long do you think your statue will last? Could you show us Ian's bust behind you? All right, I'll show you again. So on the front is Ian Cook, independent from Mulgrave. On one side, we have just Ian Cook, independent from Mulgrave. And on the back, I'll show you what's on the back. It says vote 1, Ian Cook, independent from Mulgrave. On the back it says honk if you hate corruption. You ready? Honk if you hate corruption. And then on the other side, there's a bit more information. Let's have a look. We have his face. And then it says on top, supporting small business, caring about local issues, and putting an end to corruption. So that's the front, the sides, and the back of the bus. Apropos of nothing, a book recommendation for you, Matt. Thank you. I like this. The Demon in Democracy by Rizar Legutko. Very provocative read on the totalitarian tendencies inherent in democracy. That is right up my alley. I love it. Something deeper. Thank you. Catherine Cavaney says you never have enough volunteers. Well, Emily tells me that they have enough. Labor isn't the same as it used to be. No, it's not. Labor play a very, very important role in our democracy. Do not think if the whole country was governed by Liberals, it will be fairy tale rainbows and lollipops. No, we need diversity and oppositions. And personally, even if I thought the Liberals would do a much better job in Victoria, especially for a couple of terms, it doesn't mean I want Labor to disappear, because as we've seen in the last 2 years, having people like David Limbrick and others and who hold parties to account on whatever the issue is, even Fiona Patton holds them to account on her personal issues, which I happen to not agree. It doesn't matter. You need that balancing effect. This is the idea of, you ready? I'll give you a quote. Ready? We're going to get deep. We're going to get deep. Just remember the quote. I'm in the middle of writing a book of all these quotes because I'm writing the book for myself so I can refer to it, and I'm going to sell it to everyone. It's amazing. So this quote is, if men were angels, we would have no need for government. If men were not angels, then we should greatly fear any government composed of men who claim that they are. Here's another quote. This is from Tolkien. Tolkien said, the most improper job for a man, all women, these are old quotes, right? Tolkien said, the most improper job for a man is bossing other men. Not 1 in a million is fit for it. Least of all, those who desire the opportunity. So let's go deep on that book, which is what? Apropos of nothing. The Demon in Democracy. Love it. I'll check that out. I feel like Michael is just a token. Hey, Alex Yaramanis, my friend. Alex has been a friend and has come over to my house, met my kids. She's a legend. Alex Yaramanis, yes. Michael does feel a bit like that, but maybe we need some props, tokens. I don't know. I haven't met the guy. I've only talked to him in DMs. Invited him via DM, and he liked it. Anyway, this is not about right or left. Yes, sweet monk, that's right. It's up and down. It's the oligarchs and the authoritarians and the powerful structures and the incumbents against the people. I agree with Aidan, what's his name, about the Glenn Drury issue. Ethically not okay. Well, there you go. You want to learn about ethics? You should go to my website. Drop my stress ball. Discernible.io. Click on town halls. We taught on ethics. The difference between deontological ethics and utilitarian ethics. It's a very good way to understand why people think the way they think and figure out where your ethics stand. Missed Ian's speech. Yeah, you can rewind and watch it. He's still busy. I bet you he's still busy. Still busy. I will definitely find out preferences. I'll just interrupt him before I get off this live. I used to work for a centre faction Labour poly, Jenny. That Jenny said that. I've never worked for a political party. Okay, cool. Yeah, you can have really good Labour people as well. It's hard to know though because they're not allowed to speak out. But I know for sure. There are some people I really like Ryan Smith in Warrandyte. If he was a Labour, I'd vote for him. Even though he's under Dan Andrews, because we need good people at the end of the day, and he's a good person. Freedom Party is doing it the pure way too. No deals with jury. Because the Freedom Party in Mulgrave is what's the name? Morgan Jonas is running in the Upper House, and Aidan McClendon is running in Mulgrave. And Aidan McClendon has been part of 8 political parties, I think. I can't remember, but he's got a political history. I think he's from Queensland. He used to be a Lib and then ran for, I think, Bob Catter or someone, but he's been around for a while. If Dan gets his statue, he'll be the biggest man on the statue. Yes, that's right. Labour has always been dictatorial. Well, Catherine Caveney, they have a different worldview and they have a different ethical structure. And you see this most extreme in places like China, but they have more of a utilitarian mindset, less of a duty or a deontological mindset, just in general. And so, you know, greatest good for the greatest number, that is more common, not always, but it's more common in that side of politics and in the Greens. And so what you're observing, dictatorial, some people would say, well, you could also describe the same thing as solidarity. Solidarity. So here's another good quote for you, right? I got these quotes in my head because I'm writing this book. So there are is it Solzhenitsyn? No, who said this quote? I think this is Lord Sumption. Yeah, Lord Sumption, UK jurist, UK judge, said there are two types of solidarity. So solidarity meaning unity, you know, joining togetherness. He said there are two types. There's the solidarity of mutual sympathy and support, which we would all ascribe to. We can have mutual look after one another. But there's also the solidarity of intolerant conformity. And often you'll find in like the Labour Party, for example, they're not allowed to speak out against their electorate. They have to submit to the party position. That's part of their rules in the Labour Party in Victoria. So if you vote a Labour politician to represent you in your electorate and you're telling him you really want to vote against the pandemic legislation, they're not allowed to under the party guidelines. So that is an example of intolerant conformity. It does produce solidarity, and that you can get more done if you are solidarity in unity. Humans in unity can do amazing things and horrible things, but they can do a lot of things. So there are two forms of solidarity, as I said. Yeah, there you go. And you're calling it dictatorial, Catherine Caveney. I tend to agree, but again, you know, there's good solidarity as well. Love Ian's bus, yes. Make sure Electoral Commission doesn't deter people from voting independent like they did with the federal election, when they said like you can't vote just R because there's no names in that column and all that. Yeah, that was a bit dodgy. Where in Mulgrave are you? So this is Springvale Road, Mulgrave. If you want to head down, I'll be here for another couple of hours. 12 till 4 today he's here. This is 879, I think it is, 879 Springvale Road, Mulgrave. But when you drive down Springvale Road, you'll just see a crowd of people in a big bus. It's also on Ian Cook's Facebook and Instagram. Scroll down, he's got a big image of him with the address written on it. Honking hurts Trudeau's feelings. Oh, poor little man. What a racist man. Trudeau is legitimately racist. Good government needs strong opposition. Sure does, Catherine. Somebody went to the Freedom Party of Victoria convention yesterday. Will these people be working together to get Andrews out of office? I don't know. I assume so. They've been very friendly to one another. Let's scroll through. 895 Springvale Road, Mulgrave. Thank you, Ian Roberts. Alex Jeremias popped down for a t-shirt to wear when letter dropping, but you all looked busy. Oh, sorry I missed you, Alex. Great turnout for Ian. I used to see Alex more when we lived close together. We've moved further out now. All right. I wanted to buy chickens. I now vote for the people who will truly represent us regardless of party. Well done, Jenny and Ann. That's why I would vote for someone like Nicole Werner, who happens to be a Lib, but Nicole Werner in the Libs for Box Hill. And I'm desperately inviting Labor and Greens to come on to say, come on, I want to find a Labor candidate I can like and recommend people vote for, but just no one will come on. I'm sure there's good ones. I live in North Queensland. If Ian wins, I'll move back to Vic. Wow, Frank, that's a big call. That's a big call. Some dogs here today. Dogs. You little doggies. I'm cheering Ian on here from sunny Gold Coast. All these people. Hi, Ann Andrews. All these people watching Discernible. Why? Listen, don't watch misinformation. I have it on good authority that we are just misinformation. Or if you want to go the other side, far right, we are disinformation and controlled opposition. So don't watch us. Unsubscribe right now. Everyone says, hit the bell, subscribe. No. Unsubscribe from Discernible right now. I've just given up on big tech. They squash us so much. So I can say subscribe, don't subscribe. Doesn't make a difference. All good but please subscribe. All good to think the preference whisperer is unethical. It's not illegal. That's true. And if other parties don't use him, then you will more likely end up with the Greens' heavy upper house. Yeah. Just imagine last year's with no David Limerick and Tim Cooley. So Melissa Caroston, neither person is wrong. I'm just pointing out here that you're using more of a utilitarian mindset, and it's a very, very good mindset in many circumstances. But what you're saying is, look at the empirical result. And other people earlier in this thread have said it's never right. You should never use them no matter what. That's more of a deontological, which is going out of fashion, mind you. A deontological mindset, which is never do what I say is wrong. but like if I think something's wrong, I should never do it, ever, ever, ever. So even if it's going to save the life of my child, I can't. Like for example, it's the trolley problem. Would you kill an innocent bystander here, one of these guys? You would say, most of you say no. What if I said, would you kill an innocent bystander because it will save your daughter's life? You know, like in the movies, kill him or I'll kill your daughter, right? Many people would say yes, and they would do it. I would struggle because I have a strong deontological part of me that knows it's wrong to kill him. It's also wrong to let my daughter die. So I'm like, is it right to take his life to save my daughter's life? Utilitarian would generally come down on the side of saying yes. A deontological person would come down on the side of saying no, it's never right, can't do it. So there you go. All the people tuning in from Queens are probably ex-Victorians, 100% Katrina Andrew. Time to get rid of the rat, Andrew. Thanks for your work. Put a sign up in my lawn. Someone kicked it down, putting up 2, then 4, then 8. Peter Jenkins, how can someone kick down an Ian Cook sign? Hey, here's a good thought, right? Very difficult for people to put up Daniel Andrew signs. Because even if you do stand with Dan, imagine trying to put up one of those signs right now. You're just inviting people to be angry with you. But to put up an Ian Cook sign saying, put an end to corruption, the person who kicked down that sign is definitely going to be a Dan supporter. Who else is saying, no, I love corruption? That's crazy. Have we already seen you on the live?
No.
This is the police officer who arrested me. Oh, they didn't even know.
Crystal.
They were talking to a cop this whole time and didn't realize. So this is Crystal, the cop who resigned on my show. And no, she resigned after the interview. So when she was pushing me up against the wall in uniform, that was a real Victoria police officer assaulting me. Didn't hate it. All right, put up. WTF, says Outback. What's that about? Never forget that Labor and Liberal parties preference each other over other parties in Queensland electorates. Disgusting. Yes. Ian Cook is busy. I'm going to have to try and get this answer about preferences. I'm going to hang around him. We need to get off this live. Let's have a listen.
There is a different feeling, I think, now, but you also have to watch some of the independents. Because Labor's very good at those things. Like they brain snack, but also get independent stuff.
Ian. Yeah, someone's got him. We'll get him next. It's a crime. Yeah, we're talking about Sligo, how bad it is. It's a crime, absolutely. See you, Catherine, Kevin. Bye. Come on, look at me. What am I doing?
So what they did was they should have had a court date in. You should have had a court date in February. Suing 2 people, like suing Elizabeth Garlick. So Elizabeth Garlick and Johnson from the city of Dandenong, suing them for misfeasance, and suing Brett Sutton and their employers, City of Dandenong and the department. Now, we should have had a court date in February. Dandenong pulled through to the effectively, and so that got vacated. Then we had discovery again, and we finished off what they wanted, and then we got a registrar who was supposed to just make a decision. We got some new evidence. It was supposed to go in and amend the statement of claim. Simple decision, either yes or no. Right? Didn't like it. He took 4.5 months to make that decision. So the September court date that we could have had, which was 4.5 months, the registrar. Now, both my barristers have said that registrar's decision and the way he did it, they can think of nothing else except political interference for him doing that. He just didn't want our matter to hit the courts prior to the election because of the evidence that will come out. So that gives you an idea of that. So at the end of the day, that happened. He got his decision, which was against it. The part we named it were against it, that was it. So we've just appealed that. We are now waiting for a judge to tell us what he thinks about the appeal and what the registrar did. Right after the election. Oh, he said he was going to do it quickly. Well, that was already done. I don't know. I'm more quickly. You and me both. What does it say? We know the corruption, we know the interference. This is the stuff that I'm going to be fighting for. Then I said to myself, no good complaining about corruption anymore. Get up and do something about it. Which is not what everyone does. Is this going in public?
Yeah, Stan.
Just know your name.
I'm not worried about it, but it's not like it's correct.
Yeah, I'm just. I grew up in a family. My father was Labor all his life. No, that's wrong. My father was Labor up until he became a clan manager, etc. And he had some issues with corruption himself. Then he became a conservative and independent. His sister, my aunt, they're all Labor voters. And Labor values are Australian values. There's nothing wrong with the original. That's exactly right. That is the problem. The Labor Party has been corrupted by people who are just using it for power, for money, for position. Everything is wrong. No, you're right. It has been. What I say is we're getting Andrews is like the pinnacle, the crescendo of what we see happening. What we do is now that corrupt snake has to have its head cut off. That's what we're going to do. So,
I understood to do the job complete, we need to get Labor out complete, but they need to,
sure.
We need to get the rest of the party.
Let me say, I agree with you. I'm not. When I made that comment to the reporter, but it's also, it's like I've said to some people about it. I have without him, the Labor Party will implode. They will infight all that they usually do when they have a problem like this. When that happens, with a bit of luck, you will get a regeneration party. What we need is a clean Labor Party in a strong opposition, or we need a Liberal government and a Labor government destroying itself to clean itself up.
I think it'll take more than 4 years.
You know what? I'm a man of action. I'm telling you, they ain't seen nothing yet. If they thought,
for them to regenerate.
oh, okay, yeah, a couple of good inquiries, we might remove a few that need to go.
Hopefully, we'll be sooner rather than later. Yeah.
Well, as I said, I myself personally, in my business, I never sat around. In my business, what do we need to do? What do we have to do? I don't know what, if I get in, I don't know what the lower house will look like, but I can tell you this. If any of them thought, people who, I think you said it before, they took on the wrong family. Well, if I get elected, they took on the wrong bloke who became a politician, because we will be holding them to account continuously. I don't care if it's private.
Beautiful ways. Beautiful way.
I'm not going to be one of the ones that doesn't have a say about the fact. If I'm in the house and we're debating, I will be debating.
I suppose you also,
Maybe we should talk about something else. It's taking a while. So deep into conversation here. This guy. Is it just me, or I'm about to be ageist, all right? If you don't want to see ageism, log off. Do all old people go on and on and on? Is that how it works? Just good people, they're not bad people, just my dad, everyone. Old people just go on for ages. And then it's like, hey, just one more thing, just quickly. And 20 minutes later, like, Dad, what's the deal? And I feel like if I interrupt a young person, it's all good. If I interrupt him, it's like, he could be, excuse me, you young whippersnapper. I was having a chat with Ian. Yeah, Georgina Cusack, that's exactly what I'm trying to find out, where his preferences are going. Let's figure this out.
So you step it through. If it's not, then I will argue against it. If it is, I will go for it. But no one with me will be able to say this. And this is what I know. A lot of politicians who get don't care. They don't even read the legislation. Right? Why? Because someone says, well, if you need to vote against that, you'll be disendorsed, and we don't use this cushy job. Really, the thing with Ian Cook is, I don't need to be there.
He's referring to himself in the third person now. He said, the thing about Ian Cook is,
Someone says to me, you won't get re-elected. So what? I'll do what's right. You know, it's not something we can hold. I'm not going to hold it over me.
here we go, here we go, here we go.
Thank you.
I'm in
You probably are, because I think you're
Starting up again.
the only 100% vote on that.
Yep. Can you just do it for that?
Ian, where are your preferences going? They want to know.
Okay, so from what we know, what we know at the moment is Labor are last, Greens the second last. They give their preferences to Labor. Then there's the Libs, and then there's me. So I don't need to do a deal with anyone the way it stands at the moment. We're waiting to find out exactly what the Freedom Party are doing. We know about no other candidates, but if any candidates now come up, like if someone puts their hand up as an independent and comes in, we'll go and talk to them, find out their values, and you know, cross-examine them to make sure, and then we'll decide from there. But if that does happen, we'll make sure that all of our supporters know exactly what our how to vote card is going to look like. At the moment, I can only tell you what I know.
So at the moment, it's Labor last.
Labor last.
And okay, because some others like LDP, they're doing jury preference deals and stuff.
No, anything to do with jury, forget it, because jury is selling seats, but you have to agree to give your preferences to Labor. So if it's someone who's done a deal with jury, no.
Okay, and last question: do you think they'll start putting bugs in? Because you know you've got a history in making meals, right? Are they going to start putting bugs in like school foods, canteens, and stuff? Are we going to see nutrition panels on bugs?
Yes.
It's a facetious question.
Yeah.
Thank you, Ian. Good luck.
Thank you.
So this is his preference deals. He's not doing any deals. He's just doing Labor last at the moment. Then he's got Liberals in there somewhere. Labor, then Greens last. Labor last, then Greens, then Liberal and minor parties and so on. He hasn't finalised it yet, but he did commit to us just now that he will not be doing any jury deals at all. And he also committed that he will show everyone what's going to be on their how to vote cards. And you don't need to follow how to vote cards, remember? So when we talk about people doing deals and your vote going to Labor, well, it doesn't have to. You get to control that. All right, I'm going to log off. So let me get any last questions and we'll get off. Grand jury deal requires other participating parties and groups. Yes. We'll go slow, redirect the second preference. Yes. We only have, yes, that's true. We only have Limerick and Quilty because of jury. That's right. And it meant we also got animal justice, transport matters, reason. Yep. Okay. Yes, candidates often need a minder who is good at inserting themselves into a conversation and progressively taking over so the candidate can extract themselves and talk to other people. Benjamin Robson, you are correct. I have my staff member discernible when I'm at an event. He helps me do that. And the people are well-meaning. You know, I'm not making fun of the old guy. I'm young, and I'm like, why do they talk so long? We all do it. Like we talk to people, and you know we're excited to see them, and we just sometimes we need help. People say to socially lubricate, and get you to move on if there's a queue of people trying to see you. Thank you vote below the line in the up house, and then all of these preference deals are irrelevant. Melissa, thank you. That's true. Thank you for logging on, everyone. Thank you for watching. Again, I vote for whoever the hell you want. I'm not a journalist. I was in the area, and I really like Ian because I've interviewed him a couple of times. I like Emily, who's his campaign manager. So I came down to say hi, and thought I'd give you a bit of entertainment on a Sunday afternoon, and love to talk about quotes. Come and see us live on Saturday, Emily and myself. Saturday 22nd. Link is in the comments up above. I put in there. Tickets.org.au, and it's a five-course dinner. That would be nice. 3-course dinner, extended discussion, or lots of audience interaction. I just want to talk and hang out with you guys. And we are giving away 2 free tickets. If you go into my socials, Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, it's locals. We're giving away a couple of free tickets as well. So if you want to go for free, but it's still cheap. It's $135. for a 3-course meal. Unlimited drinks all night, beer, wine. I'm not sure if spirits are included. Soft drink, obviously. So it's good. We go out and spend $100 anyway. Come and see us on Saturday. He hates corruption. Come and see us on Saturday. I very much encourage you all to get us some quotes. Are good, man. I enjoyed sharing some quotes with you today. I'm going to release a book of those. We just did an interview with Zuby yesterday, a couple of days ago, released yesterday. So that's up for free on my website as well, discernible.io. Also on Spotify. So if you want to cast to your TV, use Spotify because it can cast to your TV. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. No need for the ribbing, though. Have a lovely day, everyone, and we will see you on Saturday. But let's end with a quote. We love to end with a quote. Pull them out of my head. We've already done 3 or 4 in this podcast, I think, in this live. What's a good quote? How can we sum up today? How about this? Adventure may hurt you, but monotony will kill you. Aha. So I encourage everyone to have a bit of adventure in their lives. Move back to Victoria. All right. Bye. I'm just ending it. Hang on.